questions. The next topic is current electricity. So in this chapter we have to discuss about electric current and also the resistors and combination of resistors. Next one, color code of resistors and Wheatstone bridge circuits. Then last one is potentiometer and problems on current electricity. Before going to this topic, we have to define the electric current. What is the meaning of electric current? Definition of electric current: the flow of free electrons in a conductor is called electric current. Flow of free electrons means charges. The charge can be moved from one point to another point in a conductor. The flow of charge is called electric current. So we have to define two types. First one, the flow of free electrons in a conductor or a material is called electric current, and second one is the flow of charges per unit time. Charge per unit time in a conductor is also called electric current. So now let us see the figure. The current is nothing but flow of charges. Then we can observe in the conductor the charges. Charge is represented by small q or capital Q. The q charges will be transmitted from one end to another end. So first end to second end is nothing but a conductor. The conductor's face is area of cross section. So it means with the charges is nothing but electrons are moved from one point to another point in a conductor is called current in the conductor. So it is called current carrying conductor. And from definition, the second definition, we see the flow of charges per unit time means I is equal to Q by T. It is called the mathematical form of electric current, and sometimes we have to denote it that I is equal to delta Q by delta T or dQ by dt. This is the mathematical principle of electric current. So the SI units of electric current, Q by T. Q is nothing but electric charge. Electric charge SI units are coulombs, and charge per unit time SI units are seconds. So coulomb per second is the SI unit of electric current, and also we have to taken the SI unit is ampere. So the electric current is measured in units of amperes. So the electric current is measured by using a instrument. The electronic device is called ammeter. So we can observe the ammeter symbol. So the ammeter is used to measure the electric current in the current carrying conductor on a electronic circuit. Next one, Ohm's law. The Ohm's law. Ohm is a famous scientist name, and he can discover the relation between the mathematical relationship between the voltage and the electric current. So from definition of Ohm's law, we can observe that at constant temperature in a conductor, current carrying conductor, the conductor have two ends, first end to second end. So at constant temperature, the current, electric current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference between two ends of the conductor, means V proportional to I or I proportional to V. We can take any relation. So first one, I proportional to V means electric current is directly proportional to potential difference at constant temperature in a conductor is called Ohm's law. So we can eliminate the proportionality, means we can equate the equation V by I is equal to R, where R is the proportionality constant. So V is equal to IR. In the same manner, similarly, V proportional to I, we can equate the equation, means we can eliminate the proportionality. V by I is equal to R, V is equal to IR. So V is equal to IR. It is called mathematical form of the Ohm's law, where proportionality constant is R. So the R is called resistance. So what is the meaning of resistance? The nature of resistance. So the resistance is represented by capital R, and the ratio between potential difference means V. to current, electric current means I. So the ratio between potential difference to electric current is called resistance of a conductor. We can observe this equation. R is equal to V by I. It is the ratio between V to I. Potential difference to electric current, it is called resistance. So the resistance nature is to oppose the electric current in a conductor. It is the nature of resistor. So the symbol of resistor, it is represented by R. So we can observe the symbol of the resistor. So what are the SI units of resistance? We can observe the principle R is equal to V by I. V by I. So potential difference per electric current. So the SI unit of potential voltage means volt, and the SI unit of electric current, we know the definition for I is equal to Q by T. We can take ampere. So the SI unit of resistance is volt per ampere. So we can also measure it in resistance in terms of ohms. So OHM, ohm is denoted by a symbol of, it is called omega. Next one, at a given temperature, the resistance capital R not only depend on the material of the conductor, but also it depend on the dimension of the conductor. Dimensions means length of the conductor, area of the conductor, length, breadth, area, value, it is called dimensions. So the resistance is depend on the length and area. Next one, the reciprocal of the means the inverse, the reciprocal of the resistance is called conductance of the material of a given conductor. Means the reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. So the conductance is equal to 1 by R. 1 by R, where R is the resistance. 1 by R means inverse of resistance. Reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. So SI units of conductance is, we know resistance units are ohm, OHM. So we can take inverse of ohm, it is called mho, MHO, or ohm inverse is the SI unit of conductance. And the devices which can be classified based on the Ohm's law. So first one is the ohmic devices, and second one is the non-ohmic devices. What are the ohmic devices? All the metals, some of the insulators and some of the electrical device, it can must obey the Ohm's law. So the devices, the materials are called ohmic devices. Some materials, some devices are not obey the Ohm's law. So that type of devices are called non-ohmic devices. So which metals means which devices can obey the Ohm's law? The devices are called ohmic devices. Some devices are not obey the Ohm's law. So that type of devices is called non-ohmic devices. So the next one is electrical resistivity and conductivity. Already we know that resistance and conductance. In the same manner we can define the resistivity. It is also called specific resistance, and the second term is conductivity. So already we discussed about the resistance. Resistance is depend on the dimensions of the conductor. So what are the dimensions? Already we discussed about that length and area. So the resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor, means R proportional to L. So this is the equation number 1. In the same manner, resistance is also depend on area. So we can write resistance is inversely proportional to area of the conductor. Sorry, this is a mistaken. R proportional to 1 by A. So equation number 1, R proportional to L. Equation number 2, R proportional to 1 by A. From equation 1 and 2, we can also write the equation R proportional to L by A. So R, we can equate the equation, means eliminate the proportionality. R is equal to some constant, it is called rho, into L by A, where rho is called resistivity is nothing but it is also called specific resistance. So what is the meaning of resistivity or definition of specific resistance? We can also observe the equation R is equal to rho L by A. So in the same manner R A is equal to rho L. So rho is equal to R A by L. So we can substitute some conditions. If length L is equal to 1 meter, so L is equal to 1 meter, area of cross section area is equal to 1 meter square, so then rho is equal to R ohms. So we can substitute length L is equal to 1, area is equal to 1 meter square, so then the equation rho is equal to R ohms is nothing but resistance of a conductor of unit length and unit area is called resistivity. So rho is equal to R ohms. SI units of resistivity, it is called ohm meter. Next one, resistivity is depend on the material of the conductor and temperature and also pressure. Resistivity depends on material of the conductor, temperature, pressure, but resistance depends on the not only made up of material, it is also depend on length and area. So it does not depend on dimension of the conductor, but resistance depend on dimension of the conductor. The next one is conductivity. We already know conductance is nothing but conductance is equal to 1 by R, means reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. In the same manner we can also define conductivity, it is represented by sigma. The reciprocal of resistivity of a material is called conductivity. So sigma is equal to 1 by rho. Suppose 1 by R is nothing but conductance of a conductor, where 1 by rho is nothing but conductivity of a conductance or the material. What are the SI units of conductivity? Ohm meter power minus 1. Next one, current density, it is represented by J, where the definition is current per unit area is called current density. Current is represented by I. Per unit area we can take the letter A, so J is equal to I by A. So the ratio between the electric current to area of cross section is also called current density. J is equal to I by A. So what are the SI units? Ampere per meter square, where ampere electric current measured in terms of amperes and area of cross section, the SI units are meter square. So ampere per meter square is the SI unit of current density. So current density is a vector quantity, means it have direction and also magnitude. So the physical quantity is called vector quantity. So current density is a vector quantity. So the next topic is series and parallel connection, combination of resistor. So the combination of resistors are, first one is the resistors we can connected in series combination with a cell, and also the resistors in connected with parallel combination with a voltage source or cell. First we have to discuss about the resistors in series combination of resistor. When we have to taken two or more resistors are connected in series combination, the resistors are connected to end, means we can observe R1 will be connected to R2, R2 will be connected to R3. So first end resistor connected to second one, so second one is connected to third one. Resistors are connected to end such that in this circuit all the resistors, the electric current is passed through the same current, so they are said to be in series combination. So we can calculate the series combination resultant total effective resistance in the series combination of resistors. So let we taken three resistors, single resistor represented by capital R. So we take three resistors, so it is represented to R1, R2, R3 are connected in series across a voltage source V. So we can observe the diagram: R1 resistor, R2 resistor, R3 resistor. all the three resistors are connected with a voltage source. It is represented by V. So in this situation, all the resistors are at potential difference. At R1 is V1, at R2 is V2, at R3 is V3. Potential difference is different, but electric current is same in the circuit. So in series combination, the current, electric current is same, but potential difference is different. So according to law of conservation of energy, V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So this is the equation number 1. By Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So when we are connecting a voltage source, the total voltage V is equal to IR by Ohm's law. This is the equation number 2. So at potential difference, R1 resistor and also R2 resistor and also R3 resistor. So potential difference across R1 is by Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So at R1 resistor, we can denote it by potential difference is V1 is equal to current pass through the all resistor is same, that is represented by I. So resistors are different, so V1 is equal to IR1. Potential difference across R2 is V2 is equal to IR2. Next one, potential difference at R3, V3 is equal to IR3. So equation number 3, equation number 4, equation number 5. From equation 2, 3, 4, 5, all the 4 equations are substitute in equation number 1. What are the equation number 1? V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So we can substitute the all the equation. The equation is IR is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. We can common the I word, I, electric current. So IR is equal to I of R1 plus R2 plus I3. So I will be cancelled. So therefore R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 is the total resistance in the series combination of 3 resistors. So the effective resistance means total resistance in series is equal to the sum of individual resistance. In the same manner, we have to discuss about the resistors in parallel combination. In the above condition, series combination, the resistors are connected with end to end, but in this manner, the resistor, 2 or more resistors are connected between 2 common points, such that 2 common points means the resistor, we can take the 3 resistor R1, R2, R3. First end of the resistors are connected with 1 common point, and second end of the R1, R2, R3, second end of the 3 resistors are connected to 1 common point, and that the potential difference is same. In the series combination, the electric current will be same, but the potential difference is different. In this manner, the potential difference is same, but the electric current is different. So the 2 common points, such the potential difference is same across them, they are said to be in parallel connection. When we observe the circuit, R1, R2, R3 resistors are first ends are connected a common point, and second ends are connected with a common point, and the electric current is different. I1 current pass through the R1 resistor, I2 current pass through the R2 resistor, I3 current pass through the R3 resistor, and all the 3 resistors are connected with a voltage source. It is represented by V. So let the 3 resistors are R1, R2, R3 are connected in a parallel across a voltage source V. In this situation, in the parallel combination, the potential difference is same, but the electric current is different. So according to law of conservation of energy, I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So next one, by Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So we can calculate the electric current at R1, at R2, at R3. So by Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, I is equal to V by R. This is the second equation. And electric current at R1, I1 is equal to V by R1. This is the third equation. And in the same manner, electric current at R2, I2 is equal to V by R2, equation number 4. In the same one, electric current at R3 is I3 is equal to V by R3. So equation number 5. So equation number 2, 3, 4, 5 are substitute in equation number 1. So what is the equation number 1? I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So we can substitute all of the equation. V by R is equal to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. So we simply common the V. V by R is equal to V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So V will be cancelled. So 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. This is the effective resistance, total resistance when the three resistors are connected in parallel combination with a voltage source. So the reciprocal of resistance, effective resistance in parallel is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual resistance. So we have to discuss about some problems. So it must be belongs to series and parallel combination of resistors. This is the assignment, and the next one is the very important one, Kirchhoff laws. And application of Kirchhoff laws means explanation of Wheatstone-Bridge. So Kirchhoff laws, what are the Kirchhoff laws? Kirchhoff laws are two. First one is Kirchhoff first law, it is also called junction rule, and the second one is Kirchhoff's second law, it is also called loop rule. First one, we can observe the first law. At any junction, any node, at any point, the sum of the current entering the junction is equal to the sum of the current leaving the junction. Means we can observe this diagram. Sum of the means total of the current entering the junction. Here we have to take in 5 currents, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5. What are the entering junction the current? Where I1, the arrow mark towards to the node junction. So I1 is the entering current, and also I2 is also the entering current, but I3 is leaving from the junction, and I4 current leaving from the junction. In the same manner, I5 is also leaving from the junction. So I1 and I2 are the entering currents, and I3, I4, I5 are the leaving from the junction. So we can write also the equation. What are the entering current? I1 plus I2. So leaving from the junction currents are minus I3 minus I4 minus I5 is equal to 0. So I1 plus I2 means the sum, means total sum of the current entering the junction is equal to sum of the current leaving the junction. So I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4 plus I5. So by Kirchhoff first law, we can also write epsilon I is equal to 0, means the algebraic sum of, means total, the algebraic sum of all electric current at any junction is equal to 0. So epsilon I is equal to 0, summation of I is equal to 0. Next one, the second law, Kirchhoff's second law. First law must be represent the electric current, and second one represents or tells about the potential difference, potential voltage law. So it is also called loop rule. In the second law, we can observe that the algebraic sum of changes in potentials, potential drop, voltage around any closed loop involving resistor and cells in the loop is 0. Means the loop must be contains cells and also resistors. So the loop must be a closed loop, must be contain cells and resistors. So the algebraic sum of potential drop potentials is equal to 0. It is called Kirchhoff's second law. And also the definition, second one is the algebraic sum of potentials in the loop is equal to 0. So summation of V is equal to 0, or summation IR plus summation epsilon equal to 0. This is the Kirchhoff's second law. So what are the application of Kirchhoff's law? Kirchhoff's laws are using in Wheatstone-Bridge. Very important one, Wheatstone-Bridge. This Wheatstone-Bridge consists of 4 resistors, P, Q, R, S. We can observe the diagram. P, Q, R, S are the 4 resistors, and it consists of a battery and a galvanometer. We can observe the circuit, it is the battery and the middle one is the galvanometer. So the Wheatstone bridge consists of battery and galvanometer, and the battery is connected between A and B junctions. So the battery is connected between A and B junctions, and next one is the galvanometer is connected between C and D junctions. Galvanometer connected between C and D. So once again I will repeat that. First one are the, we have to take an Wheatstone bridge, 4 resistors P, Q, R, S, and 4 junctions A, B, C, D, and it have 2 instrument electronic devices. First one is the battery and second one is the galvanometer. So the battery will be connected between A and B junctions, and the galvanometer will be connected between the C and D junction. So the electric current is passed through this way and it can reach the A junction. It can split, resolve into 2 components. So I is resolved into byparts into 2, I1, I2. I1 pass through the P resistor, I2 current pass through the R resistor. So in the same manner, I1 current reach the junction C, and also it can split into 2 types, I3, Ig. In the same manner, I2 current pass through the R resistor, it can reach the D junction, and Ig also pass through the galvanometer, it can reach the D junction. So leaving the current is I4. Then last one at B junction, I3 reaches, I4 reaches, and leaving the current is I. So we can apply the Kirchhoff first law at junction A, at junction B, at junction C, at junction D. So we can observe at A junction, Kirchhoff first law tells about the electric current in the circuit. At A junction, I is equal to I1 plus I2. We can observe at A junction, entering the current is I, leaving the current are I1, I2. So by first law, entering the current, sum of the entering currents, only single current I, is equal to sum of the leaving current in the same junction. So I is equal to I1 plus I2. At B junction, what are the entering current? I3, I4. What is the leaving current? I. So I is equal to I1, I3 plus I4. At C junction, what is the entering current? I1. Leaving current? I3 plus Ig. So I1 is equal to I3 plus Ig. At D junction, we can observe D junction, entering current are I2 plus Ig. The leaving current is I4. So I4 is equal to I2 plus Ig. This is the application of Kirchhoff first law. And the second one, from Kirchhoff second law, we can apply the second law. We can draw a loop, closed loop. So we can take from the circuit, it can resolve into 2 loops. First one is the ACDA, second one is the BCDB. So we can write first one ACDA. This is the first loop. Second one is BCDB. So in the first loop, the second law is represent the voltage potential drop in the circuit. So from A to C, the electric current is I and resistor is P. So I1 P AC. Next C to D, electric current is Ig, pass through the resistance galvanometer G. So I1 P Ig G. The second one is AC completed, CD completed. Next one D to A. We can observe D to A, the arrow mark, current is opposite to the direction. It is the anti-clockwise. So we can take minus symbol, minus I2R is equal to 0. So we can observe I1P plus IgG. We can take minus, opposite. So minus I2R is equal to 0. In the same manner, BCDB, we can observe the circuit BCDB. So we can move from B to C. We can observe B to C, the arrow mark is opposite to the direction, so minus I3Q. Next one is C to D plus IGG. Next one is D to B plus I4S is equal to 0. So for BCDB closed loop, minus I3Q opposite direction and plus IGG, and also the minus I4S is equal to 0. Where is the direction? So in this manner, where plus I4S, so if Ig is 0 means the balancing condition, when the galvanometer deflection will be 0, then the conditions are I1 is equal to I3, I2 is equal to I4. So these equations can be substituted in above equation, where not minus we can take plus plus I4S. so we can also write where Ig is 0, the terms Ig will be 0, so the equations are I1P plus 0 minus I2R is equal to 0. Next one is I1P is equal to I2R. In the same one, second equation, minus I3Q plus 0 plus I4S equal to 0, minus I3Q is equal to minus I4S, minus minus will be cancelled, so I3Q is equal to I4S. This is the equation number 1, this is the equation number 2. So equation number 1 is divides with equation number 2. So I1P by I3Q is equal to I3R by I4S. So we can write these equations. I1, I3 will be cancelled, where not I3, I2 by I4 will be cancelled. So P by Q is equal to R by S. We can take the conditions from I1 is equal to I3, I2 is equal to I4. So the P by Q is equal to R by S is called Wheatstone-Bridge balancing condition. So we can take that the P, Q, R, S are the 4 resistors. And the next topic is potentiometer. We already discussed about the Kirchhoff's law and Wheatstone-Bridge, and the next one is potentiometer. Before going to this topic, we have to discuss about the working principle of potentiometer. This is the relation between the length of the potentiometer wire and potential drop, potential difference. So potential difference is represented by V or epsilon. When a current is passed through a wire of uniform cross section, the potential difference between 2 points on the wire is proportional to the length. Potential difference is directly proportional to length of the wire. So epsilon proportional to L, epsilon is equal to pi L. And also we have to represent V proportional to L, V is equal to pi L, where pi is called potential drop per unit length. Pi is equal to, we can write pi is equal to epsilon by L. So epsilon is called potential drop per unit length called pi. Next one is, what is the use of potentiometer? Application of potentiometer to compare the comparison of the electromotive force of two given primary cells, and to know the determine the internal resistance of the given cell. So we can observe this circuit. This is the key and variable resistance and a battery E1, E2 or epsilon 1, epsilon 2 to different electromotive force cells. This is the two-way key, 1, 2, 3 two-way key, where we have to take a galvanometer. This is the A to C is the potentiometer wire, L-shaped wire, and N1 is the first balancing point and N2 is the second balancing point. We can balance these balancing points or length are determined by the jockey J. So the two electromotive force are two cells are epsilon 1, epsilon 2. We are connecting epsilon 1, epsilon 2, and the point marked 1, 2, 3 from a two-way K, where we can observe that 1, 2, 3. This is called two-way key, and these are the two electromotive force of cells, different cells, epsilon 1, epsilon 2. when 1 and 3 are connected, the galvanometer is connected to epsilon 1. First one is the to determine the electromotive force of the first cell when we are connecting 1 and 3. So the galvanometer is connected to epsilon 1 by Kirchhoff loop rule. So epsilon 1 is equal to pi L1. In the same manner, second one, we can disconnect the 1 and 3. We can connect 2 and 3. So the galvanometer will be connected with the second cell, the EMF of epsilon 2. So we can calculate the second balancing length, epsilon 2 is equal to pi L2. First one is the equation number 1. In the same manner, equation number 2. Equation number 1 is divides with equation number 2. So epsilon 1 by epsilon 2 is equal to pi L1 by pi L2, where pi will be cancelled. So epsilon 1 by epsilon 2 is equal to L1 by L2. This is the equation for to compare the electromotive force of two given primary cells. In the same manner, we can determine the internal resistance of the given cell. In the above topic, we have to discuss about taking the two cells. In this situation, we have to take an only single cell. The electromotive force of cell is epsilon. We can determine find the internal resistance of the given cell. In this figure, we can observe the K1 key, K2 key, and variable resistance is R, and a battery, and in the same manner a galvanometer and a jockey J. The balancing point null points are N1, N2, where we can observe RB is nothing but resistance box. So we determine the internal resistance of the given cell. So in this, whose internal resistance is to be determined is connected across a resistance box through a key K2, whose internal resistance epsilon battery. Determine the internal resistance will be connected with a resistance box and K2 key, and when K2 key is open, first condition is key will be open and second one is key will be closed. When the K2 key is open, the balancing length is L1, so epsilon is equal to pi L1. Second one is when the K2 is closed, so the balancing length is written by the jockey J, it is L2. So from A to C ends wire potentiometer wire A to C ends, A to N1 is the first balancing length represented by L1, determine the jockey, and second one is A to N2, it is the second balancing length, it is also determined jockey J. So epsilon is equal to pi L1, next V is equal to pi L2. So equation 1 and 2 divides with equation number 1 and equation number 2. So epsilon by V is equal to pi L1 by pi L2. So epsilon by V is equal to L1 by L2, where epsilon electromotive of given cell, epsilon is equal to I into R plus R, V is equal to IR. So we can substitute the equations. I into R plus R by IR is equal to L1 by L2, where I will be cancelled, R plus R by R is equal to L1 by L2. Next one, R by R plus R by R means 1 is equal to L1 by L2. Next, R by R is equal to L1 by L2 minus 1. Therefore, R is equal to R into L1 by L2 minus 1. So the equation is called internal resistance of a given primary cell. So what are the uses, applications of potentiometer? Already we have to discuss about two phenomena. First one is to compare of electromotive force of primary cells, and second one is to know the determine the internal resistance of a given cell.